Welcome to
Great.
welcome to part two. Yeah, you were saying, Terry, about
But yeah, as you say, you're turning into Eddie Hearn. But I think the wider point is the fight we want to see. I think if you're a British fan, you want to see Joyce in there with Usyk now. If we're taking Fury off the table, it's Joyce.
Joyce and Usyk. Is that what you want, Terry? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where you almost like can Usyk solve this puzzle in the pros for 12 rounds with 10-ounce gloves on?
Can he solve Usyk? You mean?
Yeah.
And what do you think he does? Just tries to walk him down, makes him.
It's just heavy leather for 12 rounds with Joey Joyce, isn't it? There's going to be no subtlety. It's just what you call it, just blitzkrieg, isn't it?
What did you think to Usyk when you were asked before the fight about Joshua with his new training team and he's learnt new different styles and this and that, blah blah blah? Did you think Usyk was a bit disrespectful because he like sort of did a mad laugh, didn't he, when they were telling him about shape Joshua in and what he bothered and all that? He just laughed, didn't he? It was like he was just a walking park for him, wasn't it?
Remember, as we said earlier, I think Usyk showed up, knew he could beat Joshua, was like, I just need to get this done so I can get back to Ukraine and chill.
Do you think that Usyk didn't look as shredded as he were in his last fight? He was a bit heavier.
He was only a quarter of a pound heavier for this fight.
His body was a bit thicker, wasn't it? You know, it's a year later, isn't it? He's in his 30s. You think he was, that thickening process that like Cantona had it, didn't he, at Man United's feet? He said he noticed him going a bit thicker, his body,
Well, you've just gone the other way, haven't you?
Why?
You just narrowed up now.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get it on though.
Yeah, you literally went from Adele to Kate Moss.
The only problem now is no, it fits me. Devastated. But people
look,
are taking my clothes, aren't Is this for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, here's what I'll say to you about Usyk. He's not going to cut corners.
Oh.
His only issue would have just been mental for me. Is his mind solely on boxing or is there other stuff? I don't think he'd have cut corners in training. It's not the Soviet way. And you guys discussed, I think it was you and Riku, discussed that. When those guys go away to train, man, they actively seek discomfort.
You know what? We spoke about this. I'm not sure if it was Rico's video or Julian's, but I mentioned about Teddy Atlas, where Cus D'Amato told him about firefighters and what happens. And we spoke about it before. Some fighters from the UK, they skip certain levels or they swerve certain fights. And then when they get in with a really, really proper fighter, they're like, they've never been in a firefight before, have they? Does you see where I'm coming from?
It's the same thing when you first meet a puncher. Like, because think about it, a lot of kids will spar in their gyms as amateurs, right? And they may all just be feather-fisted guys, all nice guys and that. There's certain gyms that are known for being a little bit feather-fisted. So when you go out onto the circuit and there's some kid from Brixton who's got no skill, but his right hook will knock you into next week. And it's not even that you can't take the punch, is that mentally you've never had to take that before. And people fold. It happened to David Haye against Jim Twite. Jim Twite hit David, and because he'd never been hit like that before, he just went down. And he struggled to recover because he had never been in that position before.
What you've just said there is correct, because and that news, and it spread like wildfire through boxing, you know, when somebody comes and spars and they can hit.
Yeah.
Now, Mark Tibbs has got that Tommy Fletcher, hasn't he? I think he's 1-0. He's a brick top fighter.
Yeah. 6'7", isn't he?
Pardon?
6'7" cruiserweight.
6'7" cruiserweight, yeah. But they're saying that he punches as hard as Wilder, if not harder. Mark Tibbs says it's freakish power, but they can't get.
How would Mark Tibbs know how hard Wilder punches?
Oh, I'm on about this guy here because Mark Tibbs says his biggest puncher is hard. I says is he as big a puncher as Wilder? He says yeah. Because
how would Tibbs there? How would Mark know?
Well, obviously, if this guy's a punch, hang on a minute. Let me just stop you there, Mr. Technician, Mr. Tactical Breakdown. If this kid, Tommy Fletcher, is punching harder than Dylan and harder than Riak Porte, he's in the Wilder League, isn't he?
No.
Well, he's a big puncher then, this Tommy Fletcher.
Okay, fine. No, fine. That I'll accept.
Yeah.
But but wait. You've got to be able to do it at that level.
At that level. Yeah, I know, yeah. We've all seen kids. There was a kid up there who was cracking like him, Pelly Reid, but he never did out, did he? where he
Yeah.
fought like a mule, didn't he? From Ingleton, you know what I'm on about, don't you?
Yeah, he used to be a
Specimen
kickboxer.
of a fighter, wasn't he? But it didn't work out for him, did he? But he could crack.
And this is what happens. Like, you can have power at that low level against journeymen who aren't really trying to win.
Like
But
Joshua against Gary Cornish, we all thought he was a freak, didn't we? Well, what happened? He went.
But Joshua can crack at a high level, 100%. This Tommy Fletcher kid, maybe he will. Like, he needs to get past area level, and then we'll see how real that power is.
Yeah. What do you think about Johnny Fisher's situation with his dad and all that? Do you think his dad's making it about him?
It's all a bit cringe, to be honest with you. But they have an aim, right? All those guys want to do with a Johnny Fisher is just get him trending on social media. That's all they're going to do with him. Him and his old man, bosh, have a Chinese, bosh. Like, what was the point in going, yeah, I knew the Essex boys, I was this, I was that, and then you're just out clowning around, man. Like, who are you? Are you the Essex tough guy? Are you the clown? Which one are you? I don't like that duality.
Johnny Fisher's dad?
Didn't they say he was connected to the Essex boys?
Oof, the brown bread, them boys, aren't they?
Well, they're not around anymore, Russ.
You were knocking about with them. Maybe you wouldn't have thought they'd have him knocking about with them, would you, them boys?
That's what I thought.
How can anybody back it up if they're not here? Well, from what I've seen of him, he seems a funny, jovial guy, but it's not about the fathers, it's about the son. Let's see if the son can fight. Because when the son were asked about British titles and that, he swerved it on that interview, on that matchroom boxing thing, and he said, I'm going the same route as Conor Benn. Is that the same route as Campbell Hands of Stone Hatton as well? They're all going to skip British level.
You know the problem with that route?
Chris Conger's still waiting for his fight. Chris Conger's still waiting for his Ben fight. Ben was supposed to be take his head off on if he fought him. Well, he's still waiting.
I'll tell you this, right? It's different with heavyweights because you're going to get to a point and it may not even be fringe world level. And there'll just be a guy that can dig. And if you've, like you said, Russ, if you've bypassed the levels, you don't want to be taking those digs fresh when there's a European title on the line because you won't cope.
No, you won't, mate. You won't. But this with Joshua, I was sat here, best 27 quid I've ever spent. You know, I'm a stream guy, but you know, when you just want to watch something without interruptions, I watched it. And I couldn't believe what I seen. But you know what? Not upset me. I thought they backstabbed him really. Because if it had been Eddie Hearn at Sky, the cameras wouldn't have been allowed to focus on that, would they? But Sky milked it for every second, didn't they, really?
And then they put it on the internet.
They put it on the internet to get money off it. I couldn't believe it. And they didn't give Eddie any PR all week. They proper stuck it to him. But let me tell you this. Was the fix in, Terry? Yes or no? The fix. Slidey ring we had, didn't we? There were arguments over gloves and ring size. It were all stacked in Big Meech's favour, wasn't it? And even the
what was the ring? 20 inch? 20 foot?
The ring was smaller than the last time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They were all stacked against him, and they weren't wiping it, and they were complaining. But then when Joshua slipped, did you see what happened?
They jumped out.
The towels, didn't they? So it were all stacked against him. And when that first card were read out, first thing I said was, the fix is in.
That's what I said.
Fix is in, fix is in, fix is in. Everybody I know were texting. And my heart were in my mouth. I were jumping up and down. It was proper. We proper got into it, didn't we? We all jumped up and down through the fight. I was just happy.
I was happy that the right man won.
Yeah, I were happy that, but they nearly tried to pull it off. And do you think what everybody's saying? Do you think Steve Gray lost his arse when it came down to it? Yes or no?
So I'll give you my Porky Russ theory on this.
Oh,
it was always going to be a split decision. Like, it was always... Who was it? Glenn Feldman? I can't remember which is the guy. There was a Feldman or Wiseman that did the...
Listen, we have to give Rob Tebbett credit for putting it on him, don't we?
No.
Why not?
Guy's an idiot.
Yeah, but he did go up to judge and put it on him. Nobody else did. Man, the judge palmed him off, didn't he, and said, "Speak to him," didn't he?
Facts. There you go.
Rob
Even he
should have
knows
said,
his
"No, I'm
credits.
speaking to you. You bent." That's what he should have said.
Go on, Russ.
You imagine me with Visa at them shows. Oh, my head would go on it.
Yeah. You would have been in the ring with Joshua going mad.
I mean, I can't remember how many. I can't remember how many warnings I've had for giving board aggravation at Dennis's shows. Dennis says, "Oh, you're not going to start with board again tonight, or drug testers." I might depends how many drinks I've had then. If they want to come and stand next to me at urinal, they know they're going to get drenched. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god!
Only if I turn around and nose them down, though. No, I've got no time for board on that, but I don't know. Do you think the fix were in? I think the fix were in, and Steve Gray bottled it. I do, honestly. Well, let's see if he's on another Matchroom show. Steve Gray. We'll soon see, won't we?
I think there was always going to be damage limitation. Hearn's a boxing guy. Well, however much you want to slag Hearn off, Hearn knew deep down there wasn't anything Joshua could do. It was always about preserving the value in Joshua. And that split decision, it gave them that kind of that convenient out, where in about 3 months' time, we're all going to be here going, Jesus, that was a close fight. Yeah, Usyk was really in trouble. Oh, yeah, split decision seems fair. Give it 3 months, that's what we'll all be saying. Then they'll wheel Joshua out again and they'll go, look, he went life and death with the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. That's what they're going to start telling us. None of it's true. None of it.
What do you think about them other words that are coming out of the mouths? You know, the same old people, Gareth A. Davis and all the little cronies. His stock's risen. What do you think? Do you think we're hearing too much of that? His
stock's risen? What, higher than it was when he beat Vlad? God, do me a favor.
Stock risen. He's not even a top 5 heavyweight now in the world, is he really?
In this country, he's not a top 5 heavyweight.
Who's top guy in this country? Tyson Fury's number 1 in this country.
Fury, Joyce, right? So Joshua's definitely 3rd, right? I think Dubois gets him.
He's got a belt. Huey?
Nah.
Right.
That's a maybe. Joshua and Huey are kind of, they got battle out for that last spot there.
Dylan White. There's Dylan White, Huey, Dubois, Tyson Fury it makes, isn't there? Who else? And Joe Joyce. There's 5 there. Joshua probably has to battle Huey and Joyce, done it for 5th. No, Joyce has got a European, and an higher ranking than Huey, at the moment.
Yeah. And then let's see Joshua in with some of these 6'6", 6'7" guys like Hrgovic. I mean, let's see what happens there. Like even Bakoli. I mean, because that'll be a good comeback fight for Joshua. Jump in with Bakoli.
Let me say this to you, Terry. We've got a good crop of heavyweights in this country. Why are we taking fighters from this country to fight abroad when they can fight more regular in this country? I mean, if they couldn't, a fighter should be out 4 times a year, really, shouldn't he?
You have to pay 4 times a year, though, Russ. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, all right then. Well, 2 times a year would be a start. Tyson Fury don't fight 2 times a year, does he?
He might this year.
Joshua, as he hasn't fought for a year, he's not going to be fighting in December. I mean, Eddie Hearn's on about the starting a camp in October for December's fight. Is he out of his mind? Is he flogging him to death? The guy's the breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, you got to squeeze the last drops of revenue out of him, right? Before the implosion happens. Because you know what happens now, Russ? You know what happens from this point, right?
We know.
And it happened with Paul Gascoigne. Once you get that kind of meltdown moment, the media come looking for you. They're like, there must be some more stories here somewhere. They'll come looking for Joshua now.
And if he's stupid enough to hand it on a plate to him by carrying off and not getting rid of all Klingons, you know what I mean?
But then the Klingons will start telling stories themselves. Like it's a tough one, isn't it?
Mate, you know all these that are texting and now I've not heard from you. Hope you're all right, champ. And he's obviously blanking the text. They're the ones sweating now, aren't they?
Hey, I bet any money Caldwell's in there. He's in the DMs. I can make you better.
Sliding in.
Yeah.
If you need anything, just ask me, you know.
Any advice, you know, if you just want to grab a coffee.
No, Anthony. No. If you ever need it, just ring me. No. I'm getting greedy, Anthony. I'm getting greedy. No. I'll tell you a name that's sliding on that radar, but I think it's possible they could make it for him. Zhang. There's been talk of Zhang and Joshua fighting in Macau in Sheldon Alderson's casino for big money and no belts. Now, Eddie Hearn's already coming out today saying, it ain't about belts. It's about name recognition and the event. He's a global star. Global. So if Joshua's this global star, why are they trying to get the belts back then? Why didn't they just tell Usyk to jog and go fight other people? Because they wanted the belts, didn't they?
Not only that, like how you're a global star and you don't have a Nike or Adidas endorsement. They basically locked down all the elite athletes.
Yeah. They do, yeah. Who were with them years? And he had one of the biggest deals ever before Michael Jordan, it was, well, around about that time. Long haired kid from Vegas, tennis player. He shaved all his head.
Agassi.
He had biggest ever deal, didn't he, from Nike at one point. Him and Jordan were mega money, weren't they? $1 million a week or something. They were on mega money. Wherever you went, sports shops, it was just Agassi and him, Jordan. But do you see Joshua being in their league for globalness? Yes or no?
Nah.
Because they dominated their sports at certain periods, didn't they?
Nah.
You think Joshua will be known as a guy who, like a manufacturer sort of guy kind of thing?
Joshua's just big in our little bubble, Russ. Yeah? He's the biggest name in our bubble, this boxing bubble. That's it. In the wider world, he's nobody.
You think people on social media comparing Joshua to Michael Owens a bit harsh, saying that Michael Owen were manufactured and blah blah blah? You know, he had all PR people and all that, and really once he got injured and pushed about, his body was breaking up. And I think they'll compare him to Michael Owen instead of like.
Who compared him to Michael Owen?
I've seen some things online, people saying that Joshua's like a Michael Owen. You know, he looks like he's going to break down and he's not the complete package. And because there was a lot of people.
Wait. Joshua hasn't really been injured.
No, but he's pulled out fights, he's been knocked about and all that, and they're now saying he's a busted flush at this age, aren't they? Michael Owen, they're saying we're finished at 26, aren't they? You know what I mean?
Owen was probably Owen said himself he was done at 22.
Yeah, he was done at 19 at Leeds United when he got that hamstring, but at 26 he was done when he had that other bad injury, wasn't he?
But for me, Michael Owen actually did it at the top level.
Michael Owen not got an elite win, has he?
Who?
He hasn't got an elite win, Joshua. I suppose Michael Owen scored in World Cups and that, didn't he? And
Michael Owen scored when there was pressure on him as an 18-year-old. He had 4 seasons where he was unplayable.
Yeah.
Like Fowler. Fowler had 4 or 5 seasons where he was unplayable.
I remember that video that they put out on him when he was 17. He was doing 10 5s in 100 one, and they were saying, because somebody so small and not on him run 10.5 seconds. But they soon chopped him down, didn't they? And then when he did his hamstring in them days, you have 4 on each, and what they do on the snap, they connect them to the next one, don't they, or something?
Yeah.
Hamstring. But in them days, they didn't, did they? So they had to just build the leg up, didn't they? But he lost a bit of speed, didn't he, from being 19? Do you think that's from overworking him, like Joshua? Because he never seems to finish a fight mega strong. He says he's not this new breed, and he's just done 12 rounds. That to him were an accomplishment more than trying to win the fight, wasn't it? You know, just to get through it. Do you think?
Yeah. Well, because people criticize him, right? You got no gas tank, you got no skills, you ain't got a heart, you ain't got a chin. Think of all the stuff we say about Joshua, right? And all he wants to do is prove people wrong. That's what he wants to do.
Why didn't he just go back to being the Joshua that make the best of his attributes, Terry? Do you know what I mean? If he's the knockout guy, why not just go for the knockout and let the man's go?
Mate, because we'd criticize him regardless. Whatever Joshua does, we're going to criticize him. Okay. And he just needs to make his peace with that.
What do you think to Peter Fury saying that Joshua had his hands here, and then when you've got a punch, you've got to move to there, then there, whereas Usyk, he's already there and he's already like that. Do you think that Joshua's, how his physique is and his style, they didn't make the most of his attributes?
Joshua's Joshua, right? Like, you're not going to change that. He's a guy that he's just got to let his shots go. It doesn't matter where his hands are. He's the sort of guy like Foreman. It doesn't matter where the hands are. They've just got to go. You just got to let them go.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward. Do you think they'll fight White next, Terry?
if the Saudis don't want to put money up for the next Joshua fight, he'll fight Dillian White in the UK.
Yeah, but we've seen that fight twice already, haven't we now?
Well, we've seen it once. It's happened twice already.
Yeah, to amateurs and this. So a third one of that. I don't know if I can get behind that because it's like rematch room again, isn't it? Let's see some fresh meat. Let's see Ergovic in him or Zhang in him. Joyce and Joshua. Come on.
Zhile Zhang has no mobility, man. Like Joshua would, it wouldn't be pleasant. Joshua iced that guy in like 3 or 4 rounds.
All right then. Well, I don't want to see White. You don't want to see Zhang. Who do we want to see him fight next? Wilder.
Joyce.
Talking Wilder as well, though, aren't they?
If it's got to happen, let it happen. Like, we've waited long enough. It's not the fight that it would have been when Wilder offered Joshua 50 million, which would have still been a career high purse, right? Yeah. Remember this. Joshua's never earned that kind of money before.
Saudi, he got 72, didn't he?
Nah, did he hell?
That's what it said on internet boxing scene.
Ooh, no one knows, but just think about it, right? How are you going to make that money back? You can't. And the Saudis aren't idiots. So when they talk about those sorts of numbers, Russ, there's all sorts of caveats attached to it. So there'll be a guaranteed amount that Joshua will get, which is not 70 million. And then there's performance-related things, like if it does this well on pay-per-view or whatever. But yeah, the Saudis aren't stupid. They're not just throwing money at this, by the way.
Okay. Right. Fighters trainers who will be throwing their name into the hat in the next month or so to train Anthony Joshua. Obviously, Eddie Hearn's going to sit him down at some point. They'll not done out yet. They'll wait. They'll sit him down. Hearn's obviously going to say, look, you're in the South, Tony Sims in it. But who else do you think Hearn will recommend to him?
Julian McGowan, Chris Smedley, maybe Crawford Ashley.
Yeah.
Nick Manners. No, I don't know. Look, let's go back to when
for Joshua, wasn't he?
Let's go back to when Joshua went to America and went to all those gyms and spent time with all those trainers, and the best he could do was Roberto Garcia. The guy he turned down was Ronnie Shields. Ronnie Shields was training Zhilei Zhang on Saturday night and got a performance out of him that we didn't think was possible. So you almost wonder now, what was it about Ronnie Shields that Joshua didn't like, apart from having to be in Texas? But then you're in Texas with like Charlo, Austin Trout, Lara. You're in Texas with some damn good boxers, and you would have been there with Zhang as well. So why change? For me, just go back to McCracken. That's what I would do. I'd swallow my pride and go back to McCracken.
Well, train up at EAS and get rid of everybody else that's around him.
Get rid of all of those guys who didn't know what they were doing.
Do you remember ages and ages ago when I got loads of stick in that, and I think you turned around and said, yeah, that's because he's tight and that. The Cobra don't have an entourage, does he? Clinton Woods didn't. Do you know what I mean? Pernell Whitaker didn't either. He didn't have an entourage. Some people just don't need them, do they?
No. But I can kind of get, look, Joshua had that whole thing of wherever I go in life, I'm going to take my boys with me, right? And you know, like when you grow up as a kid, you think that's a really noble position to have, don't you? But you get to a certain point and you realize your mates aren't performing at the same level you are.
Yeah.
And at that point, you got to just cut them loose.
Yeah, cut them loose. If they're not putting the effort, what I don't like is people when they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then they're still talking about it 2 years later. You've got to drop them, mate, until they sort this out.
Yeah. I'll give you an example, Russ. Like when I was a kid, a couple of my friends went into the drug game, right? And they thought they're all going to do it as a group. Like, this is our little firm. And I stayed well away just because I could see there were a lot of loose cannons involved, right? But the problem with loose cannons is they'll get you hurt. And what you have in an organization like that normally are disciplined people. They don't really have friends outside of the group. They don't have relationships with women who aren't you don't show weakness in public because someone's going to get you on it. But in this group, Paul, there were just guys who loved women. They loved attention. And after a while, one of them got in with the wrong woman. She was like, yeah, come to the hotel. Bam. Got kidnapped in the hotel. Got held up for ransom.
Oh.
And then them guys were like, we ain't paying it. He shouldn't have been in that position. We're not paying the ransom. Oh, man, they ruined him, left him in the middle of nowhere. Just ruined.
What battered him?
Yeah, because they're told there's no money here. You can do what you want to him, kill him, whatever. You take the murder charge. We're not paying. And that was it for him in the wilderness.
Can you see Joshua going off rails and him? We've seen this many, many times with fighters, haven't we? You know, where it don't go well for them at ring. They've got a few quid, wrong people around them. It's all looking set for a car crash job, isn't it?
Yeah, because he's upset that he's been disciplined for over a decade and he wasn't good enough. So he's always like, well, what's the point of being disciplined? I may as well just be Femi the bully.
I may as well revert back to what I am.
Yeah. And he'll go, look, it worked for Mike Tyson, so it can work for me.
He could come back and reinvent himself, even if he loses all his sponsors. He'd have to get rid of all that shower around him. And he's saying, yeah, be humble, be humble. Next minute, he's saying he wants to be a billionaire and all this. And then he's saying, be humble, eat all your greens and that. Then he's eating chicken and chips. Look, point I want to make is, I think it could be a good thing that's happened to him because he's maybe been trying to be somebody that he isn't mentally in his head. You keep trying to be that guy every day when you leave the house, when really you're not like that. You're not that person, are you? And you said that a few years ago on here, he's carrying that around like a piano on his back. Maybe now shackles are off. He might think, you know what? What over all these around me? I've just been beat twice on. So what's he lost? 3 out of 4 or 3 out of 5 or something? Is it?
3 out of 5 losses.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, his last 5 fights. And he's only recently stepped it up, hasn't he? He's lost 3 out of 5. And look at them all now. They're all hungry wolves, so chasing him down now, thinking, we want that Joshua one in. We can beat you. People that are saying that have been saying it all along anyway. But now they're all trying to get the Sens in position. Can you see him leaving Hearn at all? Could you see Tyson going to Hearn? I mean, there's that many permutations, isn't there, that's going on at the moment? Because isn't Tyson's deal with Bricktop up now?
Tyson will never go to Hearn. He'll never.
Oh, he'll never go.
Because of the disrespect. He'll never go.
He said he'd never go to Bricktop, didn't he? And he did.
Nah. But Bricktop's he's never been as personal as Hearn has been.
Oh, yeah.
Hearn was in so deep with Joshua, right? He was in so deep. And look, people forget the reason you had this Joshua effect was Fury kind of went off the rails, right? So all those fans needed someone to get behind quickly. Yeah. And it was Joshua. When Fury came back, Joshua lost a lot of his fans because people then went back to Fury.
Yeah.
People forget that. And Eddie knew that, which is why he tried to discredit Fury at every opportunity. But yeah, Joshua's support isn't what it was when Fury was kind of in the wilderness because people only have so much energy, to be honest with you. And a lot of people, I mean, Fury power became a thing. The Stig became a national hero. I mean, it's the usual thing. So I don't know, Russ. I see all of this and I just think we're going to have to leave this story at some point between today and tomorrow. We're all going to have to leave this story until Joshua comes out and talks. Not even Hearn, ignore Hearn. Hearn's not relevant. Until Joshua comes out and talks. And it can't be IFL. He's going to have to go somewhere where they don't need him, like a Talk Sport or whatever. He has to go on there and they have to just be able to ask him questions. What the hell's going on? And then we'll work out where we are.
What went wrong? Who's to blame? And blah, blah, blah. Did you have a good camp? Why did you have all them sparring partners that were really not named sparring partners? Who were dealing with that? I've heard he was sparring poor guys. Southpaws. He didn't have good sparring and that. So who's dealing with that aspect? What is nutrition right? What is fitness right? Well, he couldn't throw much in the last 3 rounds, could he?
But he's never been able to.
He's always a 9-round man, isn't he? After that, there's something happens to him, isn't it? Maybe
that's just what it is. He just can't do it.
I don't know. And he's saying he's 18 stone. I'm heavy. What's all that about, Terry?
Mate, you've been 18 stone.
I've been 28 and a half, 28.8. Mike Tyson were 15-10 one or something. And Marciano, yeah, he was 14 stone. Fair enough, I was just under. But can't Joshua throw a combination on a punch bag in the gym? I'm sure he can. So if you can throw it on a punch bag, you can throw it at another person, can't you, Terry?
Physically, yes. Mentally, no.
Does that mean because the other guy's gonna move and not let you throw it, and then mentally you're breaking you down? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's something that's going to come back.
Because this Usyk guy, right? He must be doing something in that ring. He must be pulling some faces that we don't see to these opponents. He must be doing something or taking an heavy shot off an opponent and just he's either laughing or not laughing or he's a poker face. I don't know, but everybody seems to come out at ring shattered, don't they? I
It's
don't
the pace, he
understand
says.
this, mate. These fighters are supposed to be super fit. They run for miles and train all day, but yet they're coming out after 36 minutes with him like they've run marathon.
It's not that, Russ, right? See your Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
If you drive that Mercedes at 70 miles an hour, you could probably speak to me, right? We could be on the phone. You could probably be there eating your.
I've drove from Kent to home.
Huh?
We have done. We've had 3-hour conversations when I've drove from like near
Yeah.
Dover to home, haven't I? Yeah.
Yeah, but now, for example, I put you in an F1 car. You're not talking to anyone in an F1 car,
So we have to concentrate, aren't I? More.
and yeah, because it's mentally harder.
Yeah. See, I don't drive
And
on phone at 120 mile an hour. At 70, you can speak to people, but you like to concentrate for that bit, don't? Is that what you
yeah,
say? 100 mile an hour
yeah,
Usyk?
yeah. So what happens
A lot
is
of feints, doesn't he? And I see Joshua moving a lot, and then I don't see it. And he's moving on. It's like he was scared or something. I don't know, mate. When I was seeing,
he couldn't read. He couldn't read it, and then he couldn't take charge of the situation and go, Let me start triggering him off, so I know what he's going to do. But Russ, that's the truth. Every boxer trains for a certain pace, right? Because they're normally the big dog in the yard in camp. So whatever their pace is normally what goes. If you're not training for Usyk's pace, and it's hard to find someone to replicate that, when you get into that fight, like, it's just going to burn your lungs.
well,
So actually, his big mistake was not getting someone in who was a big guy with an insane work rate. And it wouldn't have mattered if he was orthodox or southpaw. Just get Joshua used to being in that red zone.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I see what you mean. It's just that the all looks and that Tony Bellew was saying that he was shattered when he got out, and he got stopped actually, but he said he was shattered because he spent more time worrying about what Usyk was doing than himself. And do you think that happened to Joshua?
Yeah, and that's a lack of that's a lack of that lion spirit. Joshua didn't want to dominate. He didn't want to impose himself. It's almost like he wanted to counterpunch. And I'm like, you're too big, man. Don't counterpunch. Be in there.
Fury would have gone out there and put it on him, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and you know what? He could have just treated Usyk like a heavy bag and gone, you know what? If I hit a shoulder, I hit a shoulder. If I hit the bicep, I hit the bicep. But there's enough meat on Usyk that I can hit something. Yeah. Let me just stay on him and just keep hitting
that though, did you?
No, which is a shame.
Yes. I want to finish on this next 5 minutes I want us to talk about knife crime because Rico Burton's been murdered. And it's pretty sad. 31-year-old. There's a lot of knife crime down where you live, isn't there? It's an everyday thing, isn't it? What do you think answer is, Terry? Boxing gyms? I do.
It's part of it, but I think boxing gyms oversold what they actually do, to be honest, mate. A lot of clubs exclude people. A lot of clubs do. So I can name clubs that I'd class as really nice gyms, right? Fitzroy Lodge is a nice gym. Earlsfield's a nice gym. Finchley's a nice gym. Islington's a nice gym. They're not guys that do outreach work in the community. They don't take many vulnerable kids. Fitzroy Lodge do, because we've got a charity called Carney's Community out in Battersea. Yeah. And they take a lot of difficult kids and they work with them. And it's about using boxing as a gateway to employability and stuff. So you've seen kids come out of jail, spend time with Carney's Community. Now they set up their car cleaning business or their catering business. You mean there are a lot of good news stories. For me, the real solution is this. We need 1 year where we just say to the police, do whatever it takes to get these knives off the street. Do whatever it takes so that these kids are scared to be out in these streets acting the fool. And if you don't do it, officer, some of us people in our late 30s and early 40s are going to jump in transit vans and we're going to drive around these areas, bellied up, and we're going to deal with this problem ourselves. Because it was okay when it was just a handful of people handling criminal business. But now you're stabbing 87-year-old men in mobility scooters, sorry. So that's when you know it's gone too far. And a lot of people are too confident carrying knives because it's a cool thing to do on social media. You film yourself running around with a knife.
Yeah.
Let's have 1 year where these kids understand what it's like. If you really want to be in the streets, cool. Just understand it's going to hurt you. Yeah? Just understand it's going to hurt you. You're going to get tasered. You're going to get a truncheon over your head. You might even get shot. And let's see how many of these kids are brave enough to run around when they know that something's coming back.
Yeah, get them in boxing gyms. Let's get some government funding and get something sorted here because no seems to be happening.
Well, let me tell you the risk with boxing gyms, Russ. Here's your risk. You take 6 lads and you train them how to box. 4 of them go, listen, I can handle myself now. I'm going to go and deal with those guys that were giving me a hard time or that guy that beat up my sister. So you can actually end up exacerbating the problem because you give these kids that false sense of confidence. I know, I've seen it with my own eyes. I've had it in clubs I've been involved in.
Jeez.
You have to address this, Russ, on a street level. And then the next question is, if these kids aren't out in the streets gang banging and selling drugs, what should they be doing? Then it's football and it's boxing and it's stuff like that. We need to rebuild sports clubs. Like in the old days, I don't know what it was like here, but in Zimbabwe, like there were sports clubs, right? And it was like a big complex, and it had tennis courts, and it had a football pitch, and it had all these things that kids could just go and do.
Yeah.
Jimmy, and that's how you made your friends. That's how you had your bonds.
Just give me an idea there for the video. Hang on, I'm not going to say what it is. Just give me an idea now. Right, that's a good idea for a video. That I'll have to put that to Kevin tomorrow.
All these ideas I do, and not once have you thought to do a video of is Carl Froch massively overrated?
You fucking wanker. You had to get it in, didn't you? You had to put it in, didn't you? You sod.
Listen, I'm sponsored by George Groves.
You love Groves, boy, don't you? They're mates now, anyway, so it worked out all right, didn't it?
Me and Carl are mates. I'm gonna message him later.
He's in Marbella, mate. He'll not answer you.
No. Well, no, I rang him. He was on the boat with his kids.
Right, we've got to go. 20 seconds to go. Listen, thanks for coming up, Terry. You've been a superstar.
No worries, mate.
Listen,
no worries. Okay. All right, take care, mate. All right, bye.
Well, that was Terry. Into sadness, really. It's not nice when somebody dies. My wishes go out to Rico Burton's family and Hosea Burton and that terrible news. May he rest in peace. That must be awful. Oh, awful. All right. That's about it, really. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you like Liquors of the Week that's out straight after this. And there's all members videos are out for a month now. They're corkers up members area. For you fortunate ones. All right. Peace out. Oh, big shout out to my mate Frank in Berry. Hope you all, Frank. Booyaka!